Hashem. Okay.
There's so much darkness in this world. Education's lost, truth's not unfurled. How to fear Hashem, how to keep His way, what to do and what to avoid all day. How to fix the sins of old.
Shalom
How
Esther.
to
Shalom
come
Ramesh.
close. How
Baruch.
to see His love unfold.
Meir.
Everywhere are traps. Everywhere
Moshe.
are
School
gaps.
Mitzvot. Jeffrey.
So you can only win by learning the right path from a Torah sage, a servant of Hashem.
Yep, it's
So
going
you
to be
can only win by searching the counsel
new
of a
tshuva
Torah
music.
sage, a servant of Hashem, a servant of Hashem. So you can only win by hearing the counsel of a Torah sage, a servant of Hashem. A servant of Hashem who studies the light and stands in the house of Hashem even at night. You might stumble, you might fall, you might see your problems call. You might not know the proper way on that narrow bridge where shadows sway. People are blind at night. Hashem's
How'd you like the
Torah
song?
is the only light. Behold, Hashem will bless
La
all
Mierdo
His servants.
Midos
The
Rostros.
Torah scholars who stand
Hola,
in
señor.
His
Hola.
house. At all
Rando Peral.
times, even
Nice to see you.
at night.
Let's get started. 5 seconds or so. Carmen. Okay. That's your Carmen. I'm reading your screen name.
You will wonder, you will ponder, for you will see Hashem's miracles yonder. If you search their counsel right, if you follow their guiding light, if you walk in a holy way, may every soul bless Hashem each day. So you can only win by learning the right path from a
From Peru.
Torah
Nice.
sage, a servant of Hashem. So you can only win by searching the counsel of a Torah sage, a servant of Hashem, a servant of Hashem. So you can only win by heeding the counsel of a Torah sage, a servant of Hashem. You will
Marcos,
wonder,
Enriquez.
you
Good to see you
will
guys.
ponder,
From Mexico.
for you will
Nice.
see Hashem's miracles
Shalom Bracha.
yonder.
Hannah.
If you search their counsel right, if you follow their guiding light, if you walk in a holy way, may every soul bless Hashem each day. Behold, Hashem will bless all His servants, the Torah scholars who stand in His house. At all times, even at night, and Hashem's Torah, the only light, shines bright.
B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach, Shiur Torah, Bruchim Habayim. We are back here on our Tuesday night War of Amalek series. And Baruch Hashem, we have more and more Torah to learn together. B'ezrat Hashem, tonight's shiur is going to be for the Ilui Nishmat of Shoshana Chaya Bat Kesya. And also, le'avdil, for Refuah Shlema and Atzlacha Rabbah, for Rabbeinu v'Morenu Arav Ephraim ben Shulamit, Rabbanit Sarah Bat Anat, Rabbanit Levana Bat Sarah, Sarah Bat Levana, Avimori David ben Nesriya, Imimorti Doris Bat Jora, and all of Am Yisrael and all the righteous Noahis that continue to learn with us, continue to support, and especially those that share our books, share our lectures, share the material to get Am Yisrael and the entire world to understand there is only one God, there's only one Torah, that's written in the oral Torah, that's one, and that's what we have to live by, and anyone that does benefits from it in this world and the next. So Rabotai Karim, we have, Baruch Hashem, lots of things to talk about. I'm sure that some of you have seen the new release of the Kiruv box, or what we call the BH Films box. If you haven't, then we'll discuss it at some point later tonight. But I want to talk about something that, unfortunately, is something that happens in everyone's life at some point or another. And many times when people come to me, more times than less, they come to me after something bad has happened. And the question is, how can one be saved from a tragedy? There's no shortage of tragedies in the world today, both on a personal as well as on an international level. And we have to ask whether the Torah gives a solution, and even more so, can the average person do it? Can the average person do the solution? I mean, if it's climbing a mountain, holding your breath for 5 days, and becoming the leading Torah scholar in the world, then obviously it's not really relevant for most people. So the question is, if there's a solution, which the answer is absolutely yes. And the second question is, can the average person do it? And the answer is always yes. Rav Elchanan Wasserman's War of Amalek series goes into the most profound and critical solution to the ailment that everyone encounters at some point. And he actually provides a clear and simple solution. After you hear how simple it is, you'll agree that only a fool would not make it a priority in their life. So we go into section number 29 of this Kuntres by Rav Elchanan Wasserman, where after he warned us time and time again of the false leaders, the manipulation of the truth, of the horrible things that we are facing. We can't even say it's going to be in the future because we're seeing it. We're seeing what's happening in America and how they literally changed the law and changed their words on a daily basis. We're seeing what's happening in France and how they went from a friend to a foe to Israel and to the Jewish people. We're seeing what's happening in Belgium, which is literally in the process of outlawing Brit Milah. We're seeing what's happening in Israel, which is arresting Torah scholars for the sake of being Torah scholars. We're seeing what's happening in the court of Israel, where a judge was just caught literally red-handed saying to somebody that posted in a WhatsApp group that they are going to fight the manipulation of the law. And a judge called this guy and told him, we're going to create a tick for you. We're going to create a file for you. Whether we're going to, make you a pedophile in the eyes of people or a rapist or some other form of criminal, it doesn't really matter because we have all the options available to us. But don't worry, once we make that file, it's going to be big enough, it's going to ruin the rest of your life. Literally, this is on recording. We're seeing what's happening. We're seeing what's happening in people's lives. Unfortunately, death, sickness, financial crisis. While the world looks like it's prospering to a certain extent with the technological revolution and evolution, we're seeing artificial intelligence, agents, all types of very interesting and useful tools that are also used for corruption, that are also used to increase the amount of hacking and all types of corruption that's out there, used both by individuals, organizations, and even governments. We're seeing how people are suffering from this. And unfortunately, there's not a day that goes by where someone doesn't send us a message of some kind that they're seeking help, serious help, more than just, the average question. And we try to help as many people as possible, Baruch Hashem. But the question is, could we stop it before it happens? Could we stop that strategy? Especially now, at the end of days. Rav Wasserman tells us as follows. היוצא בקצרה מכל האמור, in short, of conclusion of everything that we have said, כי סיבת הסיבות לכל תחלואנו היה מה שרפו ידינו מדברי תורה. That the ultimate cause of all causes to our illnesses, he's calling our situation an illness, which is very easy to agree with, and quite frankly, a perfect definition. You see that there is a worldwide illness and everyone's infected. This is not the coronavirus. This is not some black plague. This is a worldwide infection where people are confused, people are in dire straits, even if part of their life is going well, financially, they find a wife, they found a husband, they had kids. But you see, everyone has some type of major issue in their life, some crisis. Just found out from somebody that literally was living a life that, from the outside's perspective, was a wonderful life. Wonderful life, lots of money, lots of everything. But then I find out from him that he has a problem. What is this problem? He beats his wife. And now she wants to divorce him. Well, no surprise. Why did it take her so long? You find out the strangest things about people, but usually only during a crisis. And Rav Esserman calls it an illness. This is a worldwide illness. And he says, what is the cause of all causes of this illness? Shirafu yadenu midivre Torah. That our hands have slacked from toiling in the words of Torah. In so many words, what Rav Elchanan Wasserman has identified in the previous 28 chapters is all of the different parts of our illnesses. Whether it's manipulation, corruption, injustice, horrible things. But now he says this is all part of the same illness. And this all-encompassing illness is due to one thing, which is that we have not toiled in Torah. V'im ken, and if this is the case, or since this is the case, I should say, gam harefua ha'ikarit hi rak echad. Since this is the case, that this is the ultimate cause of all causes to the illness, then the ultimate cure is only one. Meaning there's only one cure to this. Which is, you would assume, learning Torah. Ki alenu lishtadel le'afitz Torah. He says, because it's our responsibility to publicize Torah. So before we go into the whole publicizing Torah, we have to understand a little bit better of what Rav Elchanan Wasserman has concluded here. And what is he relying on? First, he's telling us that this is an illness. I don't think anyone would argue with this point. Who is not suffering from some type of tragedy, or that just passed, or that's happening? But he's saying that this is coming from slacking, rifyon. Where does this come from? It actually comes from the Torah itself. If you look at Sefer Shmot, the book of Exodus, in chapter 17, we see in Parashat Beshalach that Am Yisrael got to a place, and it says, chapter 17, verse 1, they encamped in Refidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. Now, of course, everybody cried out, complained, where's the water, the bitter waters, all the different issues that's happening over there. That's when Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu to strike the stone. This is before Mount Sinai. But after all of this, they get the water. As if this trouble wasn't enough, verse number 8 says, Amalek came and battled Israel in Refidim. So the question is, what is this Refidim? Where is it? Was it a specific place vulnerable to attacks? Was it close to Egypt? Was it close to Mount Sinai? Where is this Refidim? The Mechilta de Rabbi Ishmael, in Parashat Aleph, section Amalek, says as follows, Rabotai. There is no such place as Refidim. Yeah, but the Torah said they went to Refidim. Right, you're right. It said they went to Refidim. But there's no such place as called Refidim. Rather, this is the Torah telling us that Am Yisrael got to a place called Refidim, meaning a state of mind where Rafu Yadayim, they started slacking and toiling in Torah. And therefore, the enemy Amalek was empowered to attack them. The Midrash Tanchuma in Parashat Beshalach, Siman 25, says the same exact thing. There's no such place as Refidim. You're never going to find it on the map. Rather, the Torah is telling us Am Yisrael was Refidim. They were not toiling in Torah. And therefore, when Am Yisrael does not toil in Torah, Amalek suddenly remembers that his enemy is Am Yisrael and goes to attack them. When Am Yisrael slows down in learning Torah, in publicizing Torah, this brings tragedy. The Gemara in Masechet Bechorot, page 5b, gives us a little bit more information. First, a Bechor is not just the firstborn son, there's also a mitzvah with the chamor, the donkey. And Rabbi Hanina says, I inquired of Rabbi Elazar in the great study hall, why are firstborn donkeys different from a Torah perspective from a firstborn horse or camels? Why among all the non-kosher animals was it only the firstborn donkey that the Torah chose to sanctify as a bechor? And Rabbi Elazar said to me, it's a scriptural decree. This is exactly what Hashem said. But even more than that, it was the donkeys that aided the Jewish people when they were going out of Egypt to such an extent that you wouldn't find even a single Jew that did not have with him 90 Libyan donkeys in order to carry all of the silver and gold each one of them had in Egypt. In so many words, the Gemara is telling us, since the donkey did a service for the Jewish people, this, in essence, gave it a merit, if you will. But further, it's telling us that the Jewish people left Egypt filthy rich, extraordinarily rich, whatever you want to call it, but rich to the extent where nobody was poor. And then the Gemara says, I asked them another question. What's the meaning of the expression of Refidim? what we see in Parashat Beshalach. And he told me Refidim is among dispute between the sages, where some say it's a place, but really Rabbi Yoshua says Sherifu atzmam midivrei Torah, that the word Refidim indicates that Am Yisrael slacked off in their study and observance of the words of the Torah. And therefore it says from the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 47, verse 3, Lo yifnu avot el banim mirifyon yadayim. The fathers did not turn to sons because of the weakness of hands. So the Torah uses this word again later on in the prophets, and we see the definition over there. So there's no confusion, and there's more support for understanding that this Refidim is actually referring to slacking in Torah. But the pasuk that he used from Jeremiah chapter 47 verse 3 is giving us another hint. Talking about fathers and sons, weakness of hand, and asking us in so many words, why didn't Am Yisrael have Zchut Avot, the merits of their forefathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, to protect them from Amalek, to protect them from this decree that happened to them? I mean, technically, they didn't receive the Torah yet. So, shouldn't there be some leeway? If you're telling me they slacked in Torah after they got the Torah, I understand. But here, they didn't even get the Torah yet. Shouldn't the merits of their forefathers have protected them? In essence, Gemara is telling us that no, they did not have Zchut Avot. Why not? Because the Zchut Avot is triggered through learning Torah. Because what connects you to the Avot, what connects you to the forefathers, is learning Torah. And when you do not learn Torah, when you don't follow the Torah that Am Yisrael has, at that point they had the oral Torah, or you had the oral Torah from Adam HaRishon. When you don't have it, that means you're disconnecting from your forefathers, and thereby you're also disconnecting from Hashem Himself. And that's why the Or HaChaim HaKadosh gives us more color on this. On the same pasuk, in Parashat Beshalach, the Or HaChaim HaKadosh says as follows. On the verse that says they encamped in Refidim and there was no water for the people to drink. Or HaChaim says, according to the words of our sages of blessed memory, in the Gemara Masechet Bechorot, page 5b that we mentioned, the place named Refidim is nothing but a contraction of the words Rafu Yadayim, meaning the hands of the Jewish people slackened from the study of Torah. And therefore the verse means to say that there is a link between their neglect of Torah study and the absence of water, since their hands slacked from Torah, and the Torah is compared to water, as you can see from the Gemara Masechet Ta'anit, page 7a. Hashem therefore withheld water from them as a punishment, measure for measure. So here we see how the Jewish people learned Torah word by word in order to understand not only the general message, but the details within the message. The Torah is constantly compared to different things, one of them being water. Why didn't they get water? Why wasn't it scorpions, snakes, a plague of some kind? No, it was lack of water, because Torah is compared to water. You slacked in water, you slacked in Torah, you don't get water. But we still don't have an answer of where does Amalek come into the picture. The Sefer Chomat Tanakh, commentary on the Psalms, on Tehillim, the Chida over there brings on Tehillim number 63, that David HaMelech says, when I see the Torah, it feels like I see the face of the Shekhinah. Because the entire Torah is full of the names of Hashem. And therefore, says the Chida, the Zohar Kadosh says, although Refidim, and what happened to us over there, was before Mount Sinai, because Mount Sinai is Parashat Yitro, after. So why did Am Yisrael get punished at Refidim with no water, and therefore after that Amalek? Because the Torah itself is the representation of the essence of Hashem. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu took from his own light, figuratively speaking, took from his own light and inserted it into the Torah. And that's why the Torah is unlike any other book that ever was or ever will be. Because the Torah is spiritual, divine, eternal. Doesn't matter how many times you've read it, there's always going to be something new that you'll find out, even if you read the same parasha 50 billion times. Every single time you'll find something new. Doesn't matter when you study it, you will always find something new, always find something relevant to your life at that time, at that point. So when Am Yisrael slacked in their learning of Torah, they disconnected from this light. They disconnected from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And when you disconnect from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, problems happen. Because the only way to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is through the Torah. Unfortunately, many foolish people continuously look for and invent shortcuts, or what they think is a shortcut, to connecting to Hashem. They'll tell you the new craziness that's happening in the last few years. Take ayahuasca, all types of illegal drugs, hallucinogens. That's going to make you high. That's going to make you think that you're back in the 1970s with all the other degenerates. And that's going to elevate you in a way you can connect to God even on a deeper level. It could also kill you. It could also make you crazy. But they don't talk so much about that. Take drugs, connect to God. That's the shortcut. Now, this is not a small thing anymore like it was when I first spoke about it several years ago. Now, there's literally entire practices of fake medicine and fake religion combined, where they have centers like they have here in Florida, a place that Be'ezrat Hashem will be shut down soon by the feds, by the worst of the worst of the law will shut down that place eventually. And Be'ezrat Hashem it's soon. But they have it. And it's literally in the center of the Jewish community. Lo pachot velo yoter, like no more, no less. Like it couldn't get any worse. They have ones in New York. They have ones in other places. People think that they connect to God without learning Torah, without dedicating their life to Torah. They connect it through drugs. And if it's not that, they'll tell you one of the old tricks. And by old, I mean it's like the last 10, 15 years. What do they say? Go and do idbodedut in the woods for 10 hours. You'll connect to God. Just sit there in the woods or stand in the woods and talk to God. That's how you connect to Him. Well, why don't you take 10 hours and study Torah for 10 hours? That's really connecting to Hashem. Why are you going in the woods? God's in the woods. God needs you to go to the woods. You want to connect to Him in prayer? Pray. There's Shachrit, Mincha, Arvit. Even if you want to do it Bodedut, to do it for so much time, when do you have time to learn Torah? These types of shortcuts are fake. They're not based on the words of the sages at all. They're against the words of the sages. And unfortunately, there's a new, weird, and strange, and prohibited shortcut invented on a daily basis. If you simply sit there and learn Torah, you can connect to Hashem directly. There was once a Brit Milah, but not your average Brit Milah. Rav Elyashiv was sitting as the sandak for his great-grandson's great-grandson, meaning 7th generation from Rav Elyashiv. Imagine living to see your great-grandson's great-grandson. One of the people came up to Rav Elyashiv and said, Kvod Harav, you know, I found in one of the holy books that if somebody gets the merit to sit as the sandak for their 7th generation, they have a door opened for them to enter Olam Haba, to go to heaven. To that person's surprise and dismay, Rav Elyashiv says to him, I'm not looking for a shortcut. I work very hard to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm not looking for a shortcut that just because I live this long as a result of Hashem giving me a long life, and I had kids, and they 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 decided to use me as their sandak for the Brit Milah, therefore I'm going to go to heaven. I'm not looking for that shortcut. Every day I toil, learn Torah, wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, start learning Torah, start publicizing Torah. Not looking for a shortcut, not looking to go into the woods for 10 hours or get high, because those are all fake solutions. I'm looking for the original. What did our forefathers do to deserve and merit having Olam Haba, to go to heaven, to go to eternal good, to have a blessing in this life and the next? And that's learning Torah. That's publicizing Torah. Because the reality of what Rav Elyashiv is trying to tell us here, and what Rav Wasserman is telling us here, that even if this so-called shortcut looks like it's working, the guy was not keeping anything, he took ayahuasca, and now all of a sudden he became Mr. Spiritual. She became Mrs. Spiritual. Oh, I'm so close to God now. Hashem, I only think about Him. Ooh, ta-da-da, she's a little rabbanit now. It's fake. It's not real connection to Hashem. How do you know it's not real connection to Hashem? The moment tragedy happens, and at some point in everybody's life, there is difficulties, there's even tragedies. There's death in the family, there's financial losses, there's all types of tests that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives each and every single one of us. Especially those that He loves. Et Hashem yoav, Hashem yochiach. Whoever Hashem loves, He rebukes. In essence, He tests them. We look at Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Look how many tests they had. Endless tests. And the Midrash asks, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu test Avraham Avinu so many times? Obviously, he knows the future. He knows that Avraham will pass the test. And the Midrash gives the most wonderful of explanations. And says, you know, when there's somebody that's selling really, really good pots, really good pottery, that was a big business back then. Today, perhaps not so much. Well, the guy that's just selling average pottery, he just wants to sell and make up for everything and by selling volume. But the guy that's selling really good stuff, he's not going to sell an enormous number of them, but each one of them is extremely expensive. So he has to justify it. The customer comes in and he sees that this guy's pottery is $150. Everyone else is selling it for $25. He says, whoa, hold on a second. Why is it so expensive? So the owner of the pottery comes to him, let me show you. Let me show you the difference. And he takes the pot and he starts smacking it. He starts smacking it hard. And it won't break. He says, you see, that's why. My pottery is the best of all qualities. Says the Midrash, that's exactly what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did with Avraham Avinu, and he does with all of his tzaddikim, all of his loved ones. He's not testing them in order to test them because he doesn't know what they'll do. He's testing them to show the rest of the people, look at my righteous people, look how much I hit them on the head, how much I test them, and they won't break. That's why I love them. That's why they're the best. When a person understands that there is one and only solution to the illness, and that's learning Torah and following it, all of the other shortcuts become completely ridiculous in comparison. You're not going to find any sources that ever tell you that these shortcuts are valid. You may find tidbits, one line out of literally millions of pages that say something that may look like it to the average ignorant person, but when you really truly study Torah and understand what it takes to serve Hashem, you realize all of these shortcut solutions are completely a fool's errand. And most of the time they're against the Torah. And one of the things that proves it, literally in front of your eyes, is what the Gemara in Masechet Brachot says. In page 63, which will help us answer several questions at the same time. The Gemara says, in the name of Rav Tavi, who said his teaching in the name of Rav Yoshaya. And he says, כל המרפא עצמו מדברי תורה, אין בו כוח לעמוד ביום צרה. Anyone who weakens himself from the words of Torah, he will have no strength to stand in the day of distress, in a day of tragedy. As it says in Proverbs chapter 24, verse 10, Shlomo HaMelech tells us, if you have weakened yourself, then on the day of distress, your strength will be constricted. And Rav Ami Bar Masna said, in the name of Shmuel, and this is true even if one has weakened himself in the performance of only a single commandment. For the verse says simply, if you have weakened yourself, which implies that no matter what level that weakness came, in what way it came, it will affect you on the day of distress. In so many words, what our sages are teaching us here is that how do you know if you're doing good? Somebody asked me a question recently. How do I know if the land is vomiting me? He lives in Israel. Other people tell me, how do I know if I'm doing enough? Simple. Do you have problems? Not just the everyday problems like you have a flat tire or you forgot your wallet at home. No, I'm talking about bigger problems. Marriage problems, serious children problems, which the Gemara says having a child go off the derech is worse than Gog uMagog. It's a horrible, horrible suffering. Major illnesses. You have those problems? Well, check your Torah. Check your Torah, because if you had enough Torah, that was supposed to give you the strength to withstand the problems. Have patience in your marriage when necessary. Have the right words to say when business was on the line. Have the memory necessary in order for you to remember everything before you leave. Have the fortitude to make the right investments at the right time. Befriend the right people. Hire the right lawyers, doctors, and so on. If you now have a problem because you chose the wrong lawyer, because the doctor malfunctioned and became a sandlar, a shoemaker instead of a doctor, because your wife decided she doesn't want to be a wife anymore, because your kids decided that they're going to treat you like somebody from the street and call you by your first name, you have serious problems. If you have those problems, you can't look at the problem and see what's the problem. No. Looking at the problem, that's already the illness. That's already something that happened. You have to look at the root. The root is you're missing Torah. You're missing Torah. You miss Torah. Yeah, but Rabbi, I'm religious already. I keep Shabbat and I do good things. I'm already doing tshuva for 5 years. I'm from birth, Rabbi. Habibi, if you have serious problems, if you don't know how you're going to make ends meet this month, and you're depending on somebody helping you, you're depending on a miracle just to survive, that means there's some major lacking. And that's Torah. When a person understands that the Torah itself says, Am Yisrael slacked in Torah, Hashem gave them a serious warning. No water. But even after the water was received, Amalek came. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to make sure that Am Yisrael sees, look, tragedy came, and only because you started learning Torah again were you able to deal with it. Had you not been back to the Torah, had I not given you a shortage of water to force you to do tshuva, if Amalek would have come, they would have destroyed all of you. It's Rabbi Eliezer, story I've told you at least once in the past, maybe even recently, teaches his students live. One day they're on a walk, and Rabbi Eliezer and couple of his students, and a huge cobra snake passes in front of them. Rabbi Eliezer, that was one of the greatest sages that ever lived, also knew the language of the animals. And he tells the snake, stop! I command you to stop! The cobra snake, only king among his peers, submits to the holy sage and turns around. And Rabbi Eliezer says to him, where are you going? And what are you going to do? The snake tells Rabbi Eliezer, next to his students, I'm going to Shimon's house and kill him. Rabbi Eliezer says, no. Sorry to tell you, no, you're not. Because Shimon already did tshuva. Shimon already did tshuva. He started learning Torah. It's not the same Shimon anymore. You have no permission to go to Shimon's house. The snake looks at Rabbi Eliezer and turns around and leaves. Shortly later, as Rabbi Eliezer and his students continue to walk, they hear screams. Ah, ah! People start running. And as some of them pass by Rabbi Eliezer says, wait, why are you running? What happened? He said, oh, a huge, giant cobra snake. We've never seen something so big. Went to the Reuven the thief's house and killed him. We're running. Oh, okay. The Talmidim, the students of Rabbi Eliezer, say, Rabbi, this is Torah and you need to teach us. What happened here? You told the snake he has no right to kill. No, I told him he has no right to kill Shimon. I didn't tell him he has no right to kill. Told him he has no right to kill Shimon because Shimon did tshuva already. Yeah, but then he killed Reuven the thief. Yeah, of course. That's his job. But maybe it wouldn't have happened if you didn't do that. What, is one life better than the other? Rabbi Eliezer says, no, my dear sons. Let me explain. You see, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu issues a decree, somebody has a cup and they filled it up with sins. At some point, it gets to a point where Hashem has to issue a decree. The decree issued. Now, if in the last moment, before it's too late, that person has done tshuva, start keeping Shabbat, protecting his brit, protecting his eyes, doing the best that he possibly can to fix everything as quickly as possible. He's not joking around. He's not going to the woods and with his ayahuasca friends, waiting for God to talk to him. He's doing real tshuva. Well, guess what? Decree gets changed. But the bullet was already fired. The snake was already sent to go on a job. So when that person that was supposed to get the decree stops the decree from going to him, he doesn't stop the decree for everyone else. That decree, that bullet, that snake has to go somewhere else. The next person in line. And apparently Reuven the thief was the next person in line. It has to go somewhere. Somebody shoots a bullet, even if they don't hit the target, the bullet has to get somewhere. So we understand that the ultimate test of whether we are doing good or not is known with absolute certainty at the moment tragedy happens. Amalek comes to attack. You have an Amalek cousin an Amalek boss. You have an Amalek IRS, Amalek doctor, Amalek lawyer, Amalek business partner. Some type of Amalek comes to attack. And then you will know whether you've done enough or not. Why? How do you handle that? If Amalek defeats you, if Amalek breaks you, if Amalek causes major damage to you, that means you did not have enough Torah. And woe to you on the day that Amalek attacks. But if you did have enough Torah, then Amalek can come attacking. Just like he did to Am Yisrael after Refidim. But Am Yisrael won. Why? Because after HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them the warning shot with the lack of water, they did tshuva, went back to the Torah, went back to connecting to Hashem, instead of connecting to the donkeys that they brought, the Libyan donkeys they brought from Egypt, full of gold and silver, full of bitcoins. They forgot the Torah because they had 1 billion bitcoins each. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I didn't give you all those bitcoins. I didn't give you all that real estate. I didn't give you 10 million in the bank. I didn't give you 500,000 in the bank in order for you to forget me and my Torah. You are busy with your donkeys all day. You forgot who gave it to you. So when Am Yisrael heard the warning shot and did tshuva, when Amalek came to attack, they had the wherewithal to defeat Amalek. So now that we understand the illness, we understand the cure, we now have to understand why Rav Elchanan Wasserman carefully chooses that the ultimate solution of all solutions, that's one solution, is exerting effort, le'afitz Torah, is to extra effort to publicize Torah. Meaning, he told us that the illness is what it is. He told us that the reason why the illness is affecting us so much is because we're not learning enough Torah. But then he tells us that the solution, the cure, is le'afitz Torah, to publicize Torah. Shouldn't the solution be to learn Torah? I mean, you said that the problem was caused because we didn't learn enough Torah. So shouldn't the solution be to learn Torah? So therefore we're not lacking Torah. That's logical for a person that doesn't understand reality. What Rav Elchanan Wasserman is telling us here is, even if you learn Torah, you watch one lecture per day by Rabbi Reuven for 2 hours. Who says it's enough? You learn Daf Yomi, even 2 dapim per day. Who says it's enough? You learn for 3 hours a day. Who says it's enough? You learn for 5 hours a day, 8 hours a day. You're an avrech. You learn all day, 9, 10 hours a day. Who says it's enough? Did somebody send you a message from Shamayim and say that the amount of Torah that you're learning is enough to protect you against the tragedy that may very well be on your account? No. And therefore, Rabbi Elchanan Wasserman tells us, my dear children, I know you have an illness. I know you have an illness because I brought the illness. But I also gave you a solution, which is Torah. The problem is, you know what the solution is. You know what the medicine is. But you don't know how much to take. It's like the doctor gave you a medicine without instructions. Now you read on the instructions, This could be either the potion for life or the potion for death. That's what the Gemara says about the Torah. If he merited, then it's the potion for life. If he didn't merit, it's the potion for death. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, Doc, how much to take? How much to take? No answer. No answer. You don't know how much to take. 3 hours enough, 1 hour enough. I don't have time enough. I'm busy enough with the donkey and the Bitcoin and the business and the new business and the new friends and the neighbors and the bar mitzvah and the bat mitzvah and the fake mitzvah and all this stuff. I don't know. How much do I have to stop all the other stuff to learn Torah? Says Rav Elchanan Wasserman, that's the reality. The reality is that even if you are learning Torah, who says that you're learning enough? And the reality is most people are not even learning at all. And therefore the solution is one for everyone across the board. Whether you're learning 4 hours a day, 2 hours a day, 20 minutes a day, 10 hours a day. The solution is one, which is what? Le'afitz Torah, to publicize Torah. Certainly you have to learn Torah. You need to know what to do as a Jew. You need to know how to keep mitzvot. You need to widen your brain, your mind, your neshama, connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But the solution for the day of tragedy is to publicize Torah. It's to publicize Torah. Why to publicize Torah? Because when you publicize Torah, when you support Kiruv, when you help people get in their hands a tool that will help them do tshuva, a tool that will connect them closer to the truth, to Hashem, what are you doing there? You are now not just saving that person. As the prophet Yechezkel said, you're saving yourself. Don't be a stumbling block for your own sins. Go save other people. Why? Because when you give him a tool and he now opens it up, what is this? Looks pretty cool. Oh, wow, this is impressive. And he starts watching it. And before you know it, he says, okay, I like this song, but is there anything else? He presses fast forward. And then he says, wow, this is a film. Hashem took back his millions. Let's see what it says. And then he says, well, I have those problems that he had in the movie. Wow, that was a solution? Let me do the same thing. What else is on this? Oh, wow, it's entertaining. After I got shock of my life, I get a song. Great. What else can I get? Fast forward again. He goes to the next movie. Oh, Tikkun Brit. What's Tikkun Brit? I never heard of such a thing. And he starts learning about all the immorality that he has been doing his whole life. How it's destroying his life and his connection with Hashem. How currently, under the situation that he's in, unless he does tshuva, he has no share of the world to come. She has no share of the world to come, meaning eternal Gehenom. And the movie gives him a few details about it. He realizes that it's scientifically provable, medically provable, biblically provable. 116 sources from the Torah show what HaKadosh Baruch Hu thinks of immorality, whether it's wasting seed by yourself or with other people. He gets the shock of his life. But he wants more details. So he goes to the next film. Oh, he gets a little hopeful message. He gets another song. Great, I'm not alone. Fine, I want more info. He gets to the next movie. Then he finds out the details. Details of the existence of God, scientific proofs. He finds out about what's reward, what's punishment. 19 hours later, he has become more religious than the person that gave him that tool. And guess what? The person that gave him that tool, the person that's in charge of that, didn't just save this guy from eternal Gehenom. Didn't just save this girl from eternal Gehenom because of the clothes she wears and the behavior she has. No. That person that gave him that tool just became a partner in every single mitzvah that person will ever be involved in. Meaning, every time they wake up in the morning, they say thank you to Hashem, goes to both of their accounts. They wash their hands, say thank you to Hashem, both of their accounts. Before they eat, thank you to Hashem, both of their accounts. Put on tefillin, both of their accounts. Keep Shabbat, both of their accounts. Marry a kosher spouse, both of their accounts. Kids, both of their accounts. You show up to Gan Eden, you have 4,000 kids. Wait, I only had 4 with my wife. Where do these other 3,996 come from? Oh, that's from all the people that you were in charge of helping them do tshuva. All of their mitzvot also go to your account. So you now have 4,000 kids and 4,000 kids and lives worth of mitzvot. And that's just going to continue growing because those kids are going to have kids and grandkids and 7 generations and on and on. Rabotai Karim, the person that gave him the book, that helped him do tshuva, the person that helped him give him the kiruv box, the person that helped this person do tshuva, becomes a partner in all of the Torah that he will ever learn, or anyone that comes from him will learn. His kids learn Torah one day. Guess what? It goes to his account. So now Rav Elchanan Wasserman is telling us, because you know that there is an illness, and because you know that the illness is due to lacking of Torah, but you don't know how much Torah is enough Torah to give you the strength you need for when Amalek attacks you, your only solution is to publicize Torah. But not just publicize Torah once in a while, publicize Torah with, like Cain gave the fruits and the vegetables that went rotten as a sacrifice. Unfortunately, this happens sometimes in real life. Just literally in the last 24 hours. Somebody came to one of the rabbis of the organization needing help, and the rabbi said, listen, we have a kollel, we have different things. Perhaps maybe you could help us. And this guy's a business. Guy says, listen, I can't give any money, but I'll give fruits and vegetables. That's what I deal with. Fruits, we need money, but okay, fruits and vegetables, okay. The guy comes back later on that day with a little basket. He said, listen, all these fruits and vegetables, you can't sell them in the market. Why? Because this one has some rotten ones, this one has some holes, this one has some this. So you guys take it. Enjoy. They're good though. They're good. Enjoy. This is the gift of Cain. Unfortunately, sometimes people, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives them a donkey, 70 donkeys, 100 donkeys full of gold and silver. But what they give to support real Torah, they give rotten fruits in comparison. They give the leftovers, the garbage, the stuff, the change that they don't really want to deal with. Says Rav Elchanan Wasserman, there will come a day that each and every single person will have to pay an account for what they did with the gifts that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them. What did you do with those donkeys full of gold and silver and bitcoins and all types of skills and efforts and abilities and contacts that I gave you? I am going to evaluate what you did with all of that. Because I could already tell you that the Torah that you learned was not enough. Yeah, but I learned an hour a day. Not enough. I learned 2 hours a day. Not enough. 4 hours a day. Not enough. 10 hours a day. Not enough. Why? Gdolei Ador, the biggest sages of the generation, Rabbi Vadia, Rabbi Yashiv, the Stipler Gaon, Rav Kanievsky, anyone you mention always were involved in helping other people do tshuva, publicizing Torah. Why? Everyone understood. The more they learned Torah, the more they realized how much they have to publicize the Torah. If they had to publicize Torah, needless to say, we have to publicize Torah. And therefore, Rav Elchanan Wasserman tells us, there's only one cure. And that cure is to publicize Torah. How do you know you're doing enough? How do you know you're giving enough? Simple. When the day Amalek comes, based on the damage that's when you'll know it's enough. Meaning, you're only going to find out after the fact. The risk is in your hand. In so many words, if you don't put all of your efforts, then you're subjecting yourself to vulnerability that you cannot even quantify. Who wants to lose somebody in their family when they know they could have done something about it? Who wants to get a illness that's incurable when they could have done something about it? Who wants to lose all of their money when they could have done something about it? Who wants to deal with Amalek? No one. Rav Elchanan Wasserman says, you're going to have to deal with Amalek. Why? We're in a generation where fighting against Amalek on a personal and an international level is a reality in everybody's life. You want to have the defense against Amalek? You need to know the right amount. And the only way you can get to the right amount is by publicizing Torah. And that's why Rav Wasserman continues and says, the worst of all illnesses is a sickness in the blood. As our sages teach us, the head of all cures is wine, meaning that wine has a lot of good things about it if the person knows how to use it. It's good for the veins, it's good for blood. There's different benefits in it. And on this, the Gaon Mivilna clarifies, any place that there is wine does not need a cure. Why? Because wine is another word that the Torah compares to Torah. That the Torah compares to Torah. Wine is Torah. Meaning, any place that has Torah, that's a sufficient amount, is not going to need cures. Why? Because the Torah is the cure. And since you don't know if your learning Torah is enough, since you don't know if the type of Torah that you're learning is enough even, the only solution is to publicize it. Certainly you have to learn it. But if you learn it without publicizing it, don't be surprised if Amalek attacks you, and unfortunately you get hurt more than you would like. And you could have done something about it. You could have done something about it. Rabotai Karim, I'd like to read you messages I've received literally in the last 24 hours. This is not a archives of medicine I've gotten over the last 10 years because that literally time would end and I wouldn't have enough time to tell you. This is just simply messages I've gotten from different people in the last 24 hours. I just printed a bunch of them right before the lecture, tried as quickly as possible to at least give you guys an understanding of what's available out there. And there's a bunch of them. I'll try to read them fast. Hi, Rabbi, this is amazing. I received the Kiruv package, meaning they got a bunch of our books and USBs and so on to give in their community. I received the Kiruv package last week and started distributing on Thursday. Baruch Hashem, I got amazing feedback. One person even cried of joy. This person took books, USBs from our Kiruv store for free. Took the time out of his busy schedule at work, his business and so on, went to his synagogue, went to the shopping center of the Jewish shopping center, went to the supermarket, went to the Judaica store, went to different places. And people are literally so happy, one of them cried. Next, person sends me this. This is the feedback I just got from giving your books. You were Hashem's vessel. This is what the person sent him. You were Hashem's vessel to pass me these books. I started reading the Musar, and it gives examples of the truth of the Torah and the importance of the truth and how to respect the learning of Torah. I looked at the other books, but I didn't have time to learn from them yet. I love to read on Shabbat when I'm not using the electronics. I just learn and pray. during the week I'm listening to Torah lessons the most. In so many words, this person just became a superhero. Next person. Baruch Hashem, this is a message they sent me. Baruch Hashem, me and my son gave out 37 books and about four film cases worth of loose cards to all the needy Jews that we met earlier today. Another person. This is from different places. Arizona, California, New York, different places. Maryland. Baruch Hashem, I just got off from my day job, and we've given out an entire box of books and 2 Asher Yatzar boxes and 3 film card cases. Meaning everybody works. It's not like they're just sitting there doing nothing all day and saying, you know what, we're bored anyway, so let's go give out some stuff. No, they're all busy. Everybody goes to work. Everybody got stuff to do. Another person sends me pictures of the different stuff they're putting here, the kiruv cards, the books, locations. It says, wow, seems like there's a lot of people already giving out your stuff in Muncie. We're seeing it everywhere, Rabbi. But I found one place I put a film case and 2 USBs at this pizzeria. Shavua Tov. Another person. Thank you, Kvod Harav, for making kiruv free. I'm so grateful. Thank you for all of the work the team Bezrat Hashem does. Another message. Kvod Harav, I can't believe it. I have competition now. They just moved from one place to another. They used to do kiruv in one place. Now they went to another place. And you see in this other place, there's already people giving out our stuff everywhere. Because anyways that people love Torah, they love our stuff. They love, especially when you love to learn. I can't believe it. I have competition now. I have to be much quicker to get this mitzvah. Before I get the shipment, my shul did not have the Asher Yatzar box. Now it does. Super fast competition. This person literally made kiruv part of a permanent part of their life. Literally, they look at it no different than they look at business competition. Baruch Hashem, I'm going to make my delivery route now. Meaning, this person has an agreement with certain places in the community that they go there every few days, every week, every so often to refill. Another one sends me a list. Successful kiruv. I gave it to the orthodontist. I put a Asher Yatzar by the door and also put it on the side with the kiruv cards in the community bulletin. The grapevine I was able to leave Asher Yatzar boxes over there and kiruv cards and some USBs. The supermarket, Wesley Kosher. The boss said that I can leave the Asher Yatzar box and the kiruv boxes and USBs at the customer service desk. The wellness center. They said they'll take some Asher Yatzar also. And they also put it on outside of the bathroom with a few USBs. I can't believe it. Another one sends me a message. Baruch Hashem, Rabbi, I was in Lakewood last night and I saw the Bezrat Hashem Asher Yatzar signs everywhere. Then I was in Brooklyn and I saw it at a restaurant, Olympic Pita. The Asher Yatzar was there. Your messengers are everywhere giving out these things. The impact is all over. It's an army. Team Hashem. Then I sent them the new project. 3 years in the making and Baruch Hashem finally out there. Opportunity of a lifetime. Something that literally would wake up the spiritually dead. I show them the video we had on this. How you have 19 hours of Torah in here. It recharges, you get the cable, you don't need internet, there's no distractions. All of the most profound films that we have made over the last decade. You want to sponsor 10 of them, it only ends up being $100 each. For $1,000, you get 10 of these, and you have literally already in your mind, I got 10, that means I have 10 Baalei Tshuva. Because you don't even need to be a genius to figure it out. There's nothing to do. All you got to do is say, listen, take this. Oh, wow, this is pretty cool. When do I have to give it back to you? You don't have to give it back to me. What do you mean? It's a gift? Yeah, sure. Even this person said, this is the coolest idea ever. Nobody would refuse a tablet. People would refuse a USB maybe, or throw it out after being polite. A tablet? Nobody would refuse. Mobilize our army, Rabbi, for this tablet distribution. I tell them, we just need sponsors. We need people to help us put this in every Jewish person's hand. Why? We did the job for you. All you got to do is make sure you give it to somebody that has the ability to do this. And that's it. After that, it starts for you. Rabotai Karim, this is a decade of work from the entire team that's literally all over the world. From Florida to Colombia to Canada, India, Israel, literally, I think somewhere like at least 4 or 5 continents. Everybody was involved in one part or another. The production cannot be replicated. The truth cannot be replicated. Everything is done for you. You want to give out the books, they're also available. You want to give out the USBs, they're available. You can order them for free. This is a little bit more expensive than everything else. So, but it's not out of anybody's price range. You want to help 10 people? Give them a holiday gift. Give them a I love you gift. Give them pretty much, I want to have a really nice Olam Haba gift. You get, even you and your friend or a few people, order 20, 30, 40 of them. You literally have Baalei Tshuva in your hand. All you're missing is the person. All you got to do is just give it to them in their hand. Don't leave it and they have no idea what's going on. Give it to them in their hand so they know who saved their life. So they know who changed their life. Give it to them. No person on planet Earth would reject this. They could be the biggest hater, the biggest atheist in the world. They'll still take it. Why? It's interesting. It's cool looking. It's up to date. It's beyond the date. And I have no doubt in my mind, this will have a higher success ratio in getting people to do tshuva than everything everyone has ever done until now. Why? This literally is the tool of all tools from Shamayim. You have production that took many years to make. You have, Baruch Hashem, a huge investment. We're even looking for people that are willing to sponsor it without distributing it, which you can do also. We're going to have a campaign. Try to raise as much money as possible, perhaps even get enough money where we could have enough sponsored where we can give it out for free in the Kiruv store. But until that happens, do not miss the opportunity to save your own Olam Haba, because the amount of Torah that you learn is not enough. How do I know it's not enough? That's what Rabbi Elchanan Wasserman is telling us. That's what Rabbi Elchanan Wasserman is telling us. That's what the Gaon Mivilna is telling us. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us. One of the last emails I got literally at 8:09. This is less than an hour before we started the lecture. He sends me, as I've always said, Kvod Harav, I've never seen an organization like yours. Every day brings more videos and inspiring content. Every week, new materials. Every month, fresh innovations. Every year, it proves itself to be the finest Kiruv organization in the world. Rabotai, I didn't ask these people to make comments. When somebody stays connected to Be'ezrat Hashem, watches the lectures, they not only get the tools for their own life, for their own marriage, for their own business, but they get the tools to get them a defense against Amalek, a defense against their own lackings even when they try, a defense against tragedy. When somebody stays connected to the Shurim, they will also have the merit to see the face of Mashiach and enjoy the day. That's why this is available to everybody. You want to sponsor it, you want to help, you want to distribute it, whether you are frum from birth, a Baal Tshuva, you're just starting out, a righteous Noahide, located here, located in Arizona, located in Canada, located wherever you're located. If you want it bad enough, there is a way to do it. Whether you want to get one of them, 5 of them, 50 of them, 1,000 of them, we'll do everything we possibly can to put it into your hands. But Rabotai, we can't do it for you. We already did. As much as we can, we're trying to do even more, but at some point or another, you have to chew your own food. I can't do that for you. And if you think you're doing enough, Rav Elchanan Wasserman gave us a trach to the head. Told us, you're not doing enough. Who told you you're doing enough? That's why you got to keep doing more. And the more means, simply, helping more people do tshuva. In addition to all the learning you're already doing. In addition to everything that you're already doing. You need to do more. Why? That's the only assurance you will have. A defense that will work when Amalek attacks you. Be'ezrat Hashem, each and every single person will take advantage. If you want to get the free books and USBs, you can go to kiruvstore.org. If you want to get yourself one of these video boxes, you could go to our website, be'ezrathashem.org. In the shop over there, you could order 10, 20, 50, 1, whatever you want. But the point is, Rabotai, try to get as many as you can. If you don't have enough money to buy 10, to buy 20, then get a few friends together, get the money together, and order it, and that way you could save money and also be able to do it. But be smart. Be smart, Rabotai. Don't think you're doing enough. Don't think for a second you're doing enough. I'm not doing enough. And I do this nearly 20 hours a day. None of us is doing enough. All of us have to do more. If we were doing enough, trust me when I could tell you, I would have stopped doing lectures already, relaxed in my little cave with my family, learned Torah, leave me alone. But the reality is, more lectures, more products, more people, more help, more. Why more? Because more is needed. Why is more is needed? Because you're not doing enough. How much is enough? More. I gave you ambition in business, use it to help people do tshuva. I gave you ambition in this, use it to help people do tshuva. I'm not telling you not to work out, not to make money, not to get married, not to do all the things you want to do. Do it, no problem. But don't forget your brother and sister out there that also need to do tshuva. How did HaKadosh Baruch Hu ensure that none of us forget? Simple. He gave us clear instructions from the sages. When Amalek comes, he's going to attack you. He's not coming to be friends. And you'll know if you did enough based on the damage after the war. If you won unscathed, you're the best. Not because you won, but because you were prepared before, from yesterday. But if Amalek came and you got hurt, that means you didn't do enough. Don't take that risk. It's not worth it. Because the solution is so simple, only a fool would not take advantage of it. Be'ezrat Hashem, each and every single person that's watching this would at the very least get 10, 20 of these, get some books, get some stuff to help people do tshuva, and do it like these people, where it's not a one-time thing. They do it as often and as regularly as possible. Why? Because they need the defense, not just one against one Amalek, against constant problems, against constant tragedies that are coming from all corners. We want just like we want Hashem to defend us all the time, we have to use this tool all the time. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows exactly how much each and every single person can do, how much they can give, how much they can contribute, whether it's time or it's money or whatever it is that they have. Hashem knows exactly how much. And therefore, we will know if we gave enough once Amalek comes. If Hashem didn't give you any money, no problem. We have an entire store that's free for you to get and distribute in your community. But if Hashem did give you money, don't just use it for another kitchen. Don't just use it for a newer model of car. Don't just use it to build yourself an empire. Use it to help Am Yisrael do tshuva, publicize Torah. You don't have any money, Hashem is not going to prosecute against you because you don't have any money. He's the one to decide you're not going to have any money. But if you do, then that's a different story. You had no problem spending money on a new watch for $10,000, $20,000. You had no problem spending money on going on a vacation for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. You had no problem spending money to order food every day of the week for $200, $300. So why do you have a problem when it comes to helping people do tshuva? Why is it that the only time that you become cheap? But if you don't have any money, don't worry. We got you covered. We have an entire store full of free stuff. We even pay for the shipping if you're located in the US. The key is, Rabotai, do something for yourself, to save yourself, because that is the only guarantee that anybody could have, to have a defense when Amalek comes. Doing what the sages said, cleaving to Hashem through His Torah, by learning it, by fulfilling it, by publicizing it. And Be'ezrat Hashem, each and every single person that's watching it will do just that on a regular basis. And Be'ezrat Hashem, when Amalek does come, none of us will be touched even in a negative way, because the merits we've accumulated will simply destroy Amalek before he even gets close. Thank you very much for learning with me. May Hashem bless each and every single one of you that takes this initiative seriously, and Be'ezrat Hashem, you all succeed, we all succeed, that Am Yisrael succeeds. To do tshuva, to get closer to Hashem, to avoid all of these fake shortcuts that people invent, and simply do what our tradition has been for the last 3,300 years, and never steer right or left from it. Just simply do what it says, and Be'ezrat Hashem succeed both in this world and the next. Kol tu b'cha v'atzlacha.